Do you feel overwhelmed, choked by commitments, possessions, and the chaos of modern life? Most people believe the path to success is to add, to accumulate. More work, more money, more things. And that's why, even with so much, they feel like they have nothing. This relentless search for more is the true prison of the soul. But what if I told you that your freedom and your true power lie in simplicity? For Miyamoto Musashi, the master isn't the one who knows 1,000 strikes, but the one who dominates the essence of a single one. Your greatest strength isn't in having more, but in needing less. The mastery of simplicity is the blade that cuts away everything unnecessary to reveal what is vital. If you are ready to abandon the burden of complexity and become a master in your own life, this video is your guide. I'm going to show you how simplicity can be your greatest weapon. And the first lesson I'll give you will change the way you see everything. You live in a society that has taught you to value quantity. Wealth is having more. Happiness is having more. But for a samurai, the philosophy of simplicity is the foundation of everything. It's the lesson that power resides in less. Less distraction, fewer possessions, fewer disordered thoughts. Simplicity is an act of power. The warrior isn't proud of the number of swords he has, but the precision of the one he uses. That is the essence of simplicity. The simplicity of a samurai's life wasn't poverty, but a conscious choice to free up energy for what was truly important. His path. This philosophy of life, that less is more, is a form of art. It's the simplicity of a single strike that defeats an adversary. Miyamoto Musashi was a master at cutting away everything unnecessary, and that included his own beliefs. The first lesson is that to master your life, you need to stop thinking you need more. And to practice this, you have to start cutting away what's unnecessary. Have you ever stopped to think about how much of your life is taken up by things that don't matter? Possessions you don't use, commitments you didn't want, tasks that lead you nowhere. Simplicity is the art of using the blade of reality to cut away everything unnecessary from your life. The samurai mindset is that every object, every person, every commitment must have a clear purpose. If it doesn't, it must be cut. This cut isn't just about getting rid of clutter, but about creating a physical and mental space so you can focus on what truly matters. Your life is full of weight, and the first step toward lightness is removal. Miyamoto Musashi saw life like a sword. For him, a sword was perfect in its simplicity, and he believed life should be the same. His lesson isn't about austerity, but about the beauty and strength that come from living with purpose. What will you cut from your life to free up your time and energy? Next step, the mind. Do you feel overwhelmed by the amount of information you receive every day? Simplicity isn't just about your environment. It's about your interior. Miyamoto Musashi taught that a warrior's mind must be like an empty cup, ready to receive new information, but without the weight of noise and overload. The modern world tells us that a full mind is a powerful mind. But in truth, an overwhelmed mind is a weak mind, incapable of acting with clarity. Mental simplicity is an act of war against information overload. It's the focus of an X-ray that penetrates the noise to see the essence of things. To master mental simplicity, you need to empty your cup every day. This can be done with 10 minutes of silence in the morning, meditating, or simply closing your eyes for an instant of peace in the middle of the day's chaos. Your mind, when empty, has the power to focus on one single thing. One of the greatest enemies of simplicity isn't distraction, but the inability to say no. Most people are overwhelmed because they say yes to everything. A warrior, however, understands that every yes to something unnecessary is a no to his mission. Your simplicity lies in honoring your time and energy. No is your sword, and you must be a master at using it. Say no to a meeting you don't need to be in. No to a social commitment that brings you no joy. No to a task that leads you nowhere. This is an attitude of power, not weakness. The simplicity of a life is forged by the choices you make. Every no to what is unnecessary is a yes to your peace of mind and your focus. Miyamoto Musashi knew that the simplicity of a life wasn't found in having more commitments, but in having one single one. The simplicity of a life is determined by the simplicity of its goals. For a warrior, there was a single path, that of the sword. Most people have 10 different paths. They want to be successful at work, have a perfect family, be a good athlete, and have an active social life. This complexity leads to mediocrity. For Miyamoto Musashi, mastery requires a single focus. Your simplicity is in having one single path and putting all your energy into it. This doesn't mean you can't have other things, but that your main objective must be singular. This is the simplicity of having one single destination. The simplicity of a single path frees you to go deep, to explore the depth of skill and find excellence. You stop scattering yourself and start building. The next step is to find the essence, the soul of what's most important. Have you ever felt like you're always running and never getting anywhere? Simplicity isn't just about what you do, but about the essence of why you do it. Most people get lost in the details, the tasks, the small problems, and never get to the essence of problem. For Miyamoto Musashi, the simplicity of a strike was its essence. The master doesn't worry about the complex movement. He worries about the essence of the movement. Your simplicity is in focusing on the essence of things. Ask yourself, what is the essence of my problem? What is the essence of my work? What is the essence of my life? When you understand the essence, the simplicity of your work and your life become evident. You stop worrying about the details and start focusing on what truly matters. The next lesson is about silence, where you find that essence. Mental simplicity begins with silence. For Miyamoto Musashi, silence was not an absence of sound, but form of focus. Most people are afraid of silence and fill it with music, podcasts, and videos. But the simplicity and clarity of your mind are in your ability to be silent. The man who is a master of silence is a master of his own focus. The simplicity of the mind is what frees him from anxiety, worry, and chaos. You can start with 5 minutes of silence every day. Let your mind calm down. Let your thoughts pass by. Don't judge them, just observe. When you master silence, your mind has the ability to focus on what's most important. The simplicity of your life is the result of the simplicity of your mind. The next step is about your relationships, which are the most complex part. The simplicity of life also manifests in who you surround yourself with. Miyamoto Musashi lived a solitary life, but he understood the importance of having an intimate circle of people. Most of us have hundreds of friends on social media, but have no one we can count on. This is a complexity that steals our energy. The simplicity of your life lies in honoring your inner circle. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, who challenge you, and who support you. Simplicity isn't about having a dozen friends, but about having one or two true friends. When you surround yourself with people who lift you up, your energy and focus multiply. The complexity of relationships that don't matter is a prison. The simplicity of surrounding yourself with people who matter is your freedom. The next step is about the simplicity of your actions. You've learned to cut away the unnecessary. But what about your actions themselves? The most powerful actions are often the simplest. We tend to complicate our work, our project, and our goals with extra steps and complex processes. A samurai's greatest strength, however, was in the directness and simplicity of his movement. Miyamoto Musashi's approach to combat was built on simplicity. He eliminated fancy, inefficient moves and focused on a single most effective strike. This principle applies to your life too. When facing a problem, look for the most direct and simple solution, not the most complex one. The simplicity of action saves you time, energy, and mental stress. By seeking the direct path, you eliminate hesitation and make your moves with power and focus. What is the single simple action you can take right now to move toward your goal instead of overthinking? In a duel, the most powerful strike isn't the most complex, but the simplest. The simplicity of your action is your greatest strength. Most people try to solve problems with complexity, with a 10-step plan, when the simplicity of a single action would solve it. For Miyamoto Musashi, simplicity was the supreme weapon. He taught that your simplicity was your strength. The simplicity of a single strike that defeats an adversary. The simplicity of your life is the result of the simplicity of your actions. When you master simplicity, your life becomes a reflection of your mind. You stop worrying about the details and start focusing on what truly matters. Your journey to master simplicity doesn't end here. It begins now. You can close this video and go back to your usual life, accepting complexity and overwhelm. or you can start cutting. The philosophy of Miyamoto Musashi isn't meant to be watched. It's meant to be applied. Your simplicity and your focus are a matter of choice. And here's a bonus revelation for you who stayed until the end. Miyamoto Musashi's most powerful strike was not with his sword. It was with his mind. He won more duels without his sword than with it, just with his presence. Your greatest weapon isn't in what you have, but in what you are. The battle is yours. The field is your life. The path is clear. And if you want to keep sharpening your blade and becoming unshakable, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Your journey has just begun.